The music industry is a tough cookie to crack, especially for someone like Jake Isaac, who refuses to be pigeonholed into making popular music. He's making music for the love of it, from the heart, and he'll never change. That passion is evident in every one of his tracks. It's difficult to label his style exactly because it's a fusion of what he loves. There's pop in there, a touch of fast-paced folk, there's soul. It's a bit of this, bit of that. So it's like going to a Chinese buffet. It's a bit of sweet and sour, a bit of pop, a bit soul, he told Metro.co.uk. There's a touch of Mumford Sons about his music, a touch of George Ezra about his vocals, and every song is hugely expressive. Why is he doing this? Why not churn out generic music in attempt to hit the big time? It's simply to be authentic in what I'm singing and what I'm saying and what I'm playing, he said. Do I believe what I'm singing, and do I believe in it even if it doesn't sell millions of records? That's the question in the back of a lot of artists' minds. While his music is yet to hit the mainstream, although it's not far off, this is a name about to filter into your Spotify playlists if it's not already there. His goal is to get his music out to the people who care. It's about perseverance, he said frankly. I have been very fortunate. I've done 4 EPs and now finally an album, and the momentum, the amount of people coming out for a London show has been phenomenal, let alone Europe. So I am glad I didn't give up after the last EP. It'll keep going. Jake Isaac released his first EP in 2013 and has since released 4 in total, and more recently he finally released his debut album, Our Lives. But this humble South London lad worked his backside off to get to this stage in his career. From the age of 16, he was working as a session musician, building the CV while slogging it out in the likes of Clark's Shoes, Starbucks and a phone shop, because the music wasn't about making money, it was about getting his name out there. I used to be a session drummer. I did bits and pieces. I used to be Duffy's MD when she first came out, did an audition for Natalie Imbruglia, did a jam with Natasha Bedingfield, he said. I went from that into songwriting, and my first 2 cuts were with Blue and Gabrielle on the last record she did. From that I got into my own stuff. I was always playing drums, doing session musician stuff and playing on records for independent artists like Jazz Records, rock and roll, he added. That was cool. I wasn't making a living, I was hustling. About enough to pay my phone credit. It was more building my CV so I could say I've played for this person, I've played for that person, to get to the point where I could get a decent pop gig and make a living out of it. It's been my life. I live by the phrase hard work beats talent, but talent doesn't work hard. I haven't got the best voice, I'm not the most talented, but what I do know and what I've been taught to do is work hard. To view this video, please enable JavaScript, and consider upgrading to a web browser that supports HTML5 video. His music is full of heart. Long Road is all about his struggles as a fledgling musician trying to crack the industry. You and I Always is about him realizing he was ready to settle down with one person, whom he has since married. And Waiting Here seems to be a track to his wife, telling her no matter where he goes with his music, he'll always be there for her, with beautiful lyrics like "These arms were meant for you, these shoulders were meant to carry you." Jake is a Londoner through and through. He was born in Middlesex, but lived in Wembley for the first year of his life before moving to Streatham in South London. From there his family moved to Brixton, the home of many music greats, and finally settled in Crystal Palace. He grew up with a loving and supportive family, even if they did question if he was doing the right thing. He joked that his sister used to ask, "Are you sure this career is for you?" and is now asking for tickets to his gigs for her friends, but he proudly explained his family have always been hugely supportive while he's grafted his way up the chain. Family is massive to the singer. He is married and is a dad to a 6-month-old son, so balancing family life with his music career is important to him. You have to prioritize family, and you have to figure that out when you're away, he said earnestly. That's why I FaceTime. If I don't want to do something because I want to spend time with my family, then I'm spending time with my family. I didn't get here because I was on my own. I got here because I've got a supportive family, and a supportive partner. It's like the Ed Sheeran tune, "When you're old and grey and no one listens to your tunes, that's what you're left with." It's important to prioritize that now. Such an important sentiment for any musician to make sure they don't lose their way in this brutal industry. And he is a very, very proud papa. Being a dad is amazing. It's a full-time job. You go out, you tour, you come back, it's daddy mode, he said, with a huge grin on his face. He doesn't care. If he wants to wake up at 3 in the morning, he wakes up at 3 in the morning. Luckily though, the little lad loves his dad's music. I sing him to sleep. I sing a melody from the staves I've been singing to him since he was born, and I sing that on repeat and he falls asleep. get in the way of his son and his music, and yeah, I'll know it if you stand in the way of, say, a TV screen with music on. I'll make you move out of the way. Hell, kick off, he said. Jake has an impressive list of names he's worked with, from Paloma Faith to Elton John, Ella Maverick Sabre, Duffy. But it's his longtime family friend and fellow singer-songwriter Cynthia Erivo he credits for helping him hone his craft. When I started as a session musician, I didn't see myself as the guy at the front of the stage. I was just a drummer. I liked hitting things really hard. But I played a guitar. I did a session stint with Cynthia Erivo, who's known me and my family for a long time, he said. She trained at RADA and is a performer, and I learned the most about performance and artistry from playing guitar for her. She was phenomenal. And the proof is in the pudding. She's got Grammys and Emmys, and all that stuff. She taught me about playing to my strengths. She opened up my eyes to that world. But of course he loved his stint with Elton, by whom he was given the opportunity of playing to arenas full of fans. That said, it was incredibly hard work for the singer to engage with the audience. It was incredible. I've never done stadiums and arenas before, he said, and his eyes lit up as he talked about the experience. It was hard every night, upon reflection, because I was opening up for people who were there to see an icon. And you don't just have your A-game, you have to work so that by the time you leave they are at least clapping along to a song. He managed it though, finishing his Twickenham gig with a promoter telling him he'd had an unusually huge response for a support act. And he's pretty practical about the state of the charts these days, and understands why he's not topping them just yet. I think the people at the top of the streaming services are there for a reason, he said. I think there's a temptation to limit our perception of music to the environment we're in, so if I'm a Londoner, actually there's more music going on outside of London. A band like Brighton band Royal Blood can come out of nowhere. And then they're touring with Foo Fighters, or Manchester's everything. I think the music scene is great, but it's so important to have a holistic view of music, not just where you are. Music is an ever-changing thing, and he knows this. Songs will always be there, they're what you walk down the aisle to, but genres will change. Jungle, garage, grime, they evolve, and that's great. Like Demi Lovato, Sorry Not Sorry is a pop song, but it sticks with you. And when Stitches came out I was like, we're definitely going back to pop songs. He added, I like where we're at, we just need a bigger picture. More in focus rapper Youngin is more than his cameo in Straight Outta Love Island. More in focus Laura Mvula owns her own destiny and is why women in music don't need record labels to make it.